Hello, hello, hello. It has been weeks and weeks since I've been here. And I know all of you have missed me terribly. Welcome. You are up front with Frank Rothstein on skiescrescentradio.com. Also broadcasting on Facebook.com at either Skies Crescent Radio, my Up Front with Frank Rothstein page, or my personal page. I think you got the name by now. And it has been a while since Jade and I were on vacation. Well, not together, but we were on vacation. And we're sending each other's t-shirts and all and swapping stories. Jade went all over the country having fun, exploring the West in the desert, paddling the canoes down the river. And I went around the block and stayed there. It was fun. And, well, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting couple of weeks, watching the Mets win 2 in a row. That's been pretty exciting, even though since we've seen each other last, they pretty much dumped the division. But that's just another story left for the sports section. That comes just after weather. We have a lot of odd things to cover, nothing important. But first, sitting with me again after a while, apparently sitting in space with a bunch of her guitars, is of course Jade Zabrick. I'm looking at the background she's chosen. I guess her new agent has her working at the International Space Station, because all I'm looking at is a picture of the planet. So nice window view. I'm glad you cleaned them first. The things I'm talking about today, because, I always say there's a lot of interesting and a lot of stupid things in the world. So I saved them just for you. Let's talk about it, shall we? What have I got here? Well, I got to put Jade's picture down below a little bit. Okay. The cancel culture is busy. It's busy because a vlogger, a video blogger, a vlogger, which sounds like someone's throwing up just by saying the word, vlogger pushes to cancel the word curry because of colonial origins. So like when you get curry chicken, like when you go to an Indian restaurant, curry chicken, curry this, curry that. A California vlogger has cooked up an Indian food controversy with a call to cancel the word curry, blaming it on widespread usage on British colonialism. That was actually from an April Instagram post, which took time to catch on, when Shahedi Bansal on her Rooted in Spice page sparked a debate over the world's usage to describe dishes of different tastes from various regions of South Asia and has been widely recirculated in recent media reports. And she said, as I quote, I'm not even gonna bother with the recipe in this voiceover because I have more important things to discuss, like canceling the word curry. So you got the idea. So the cancel culture is at it again, and now we're attacking spices. Got to attack something. Oh, there's plenty more. Don't worry about that. But we just talk it over because you never know what's important. And there's no real particular order as to what I'm speaking about. I really just took them out of my file of my Facebook page in order, in order of age, so I don't forget anything. Now I can clean my whole Facebook page. Generation Z, everything's abbreviated. Gen Z has discovered an amazing new use for smartphones, making calls. This was from August 16th, or, not long ago. And that's because, unlike most of her peers, Kira Russell, a 22-year-old student from the Jersey Shore, is not an avid texter. To get hold of her friends, they know they have to give her a ring on the phone. They have to call her. And because she would much rather tell somebody, oh my God, I got a new job. Well, you had to throw in the oh my God. That's a whole other thing on my list of things to debate. Everything is covered by oh my God. Oh my God. She wants to tell her friends what's going on. And this seems to be catching on a little as people are learning to talk. Because this current generation, I guess, of what could be my grandkids, depending on where I was having, what state I'm in, what could be my grandkids are learning that you can talk. Now, the generation before, 40-year-olds or whatever, 38-year-olds, they were back and forth talking and texting. I'm not a texter myself. But if you're someone who's between, let's say, 18 and 24, the odds are it says that they send and receive an average of 3,853 texts a month. Well, that's nice, but unless you really know how to write, and I learned how to write. I learned how to write in school. I could do sort of copy. Yeah, I can do short messages. Unless you really know how to convey the message you want in 2 or 3 sentences, and I don't mean just the words. I mean what you're thinking, how important it is to you. Now, these general emojis or whatever. Unless you know how to write, you're in deep trouble because a lot of times people don't know if you're joking, if it's important or not. They don't know if you're sad. You know, like, I had a bad day. Sometimes you say, I had a bad day. Well, so what? Sometimes you're sitting there crying your eyes out saying, I had a bad day. And you want someone to know it, and they're not getting it because you're not telling them. You're texting. But I've been saying it for years. Texting is not talking. Try talking. Yeah, FaceTime videos are good. FaceTime videos are fine. But not everybody has time to sit there with a FaceTime video. So sometimes a quick phone call is just the way to go. I like it. I prefer it. That's fine. But that's just how I think. I guess to each their own. But as I say, texting is not talking. Try talking. You'll accomplish a lot more. If nothing else, you'll save time. Because all those email or text conversations that can take 5 hours could now be summed up in 5 minutes. What else is going on in the world? Wait, we got a video. Okay. Every now and then, I don't know if you can hear that, but every now and again, if I turn something on my computer, just the video automatically plays, which I find annoying. Okay, this was a story I found on the 20th days ago. It says a UK, United Kingdom woman accidentally strangled herself to death with pajamas. What's that, you say? How can you do that with pajamas? Well, even the coroner doesn't know. Because Jackie Michelle Catrill, popular bartender, that's what it says, who's, and I quote, pulled a pint in every pub in Blackburn, suffocated to death when her pajamas got stuck in an oven while she was making a bacon sandwich for her nephew. Seems that as many times as I read this, I still don't get it. She was downstairs to find her clothing had gotten stuck in the oven, and she made him a sandwich. The coroner said during a court hearing that he had never come across such an unusual case. Her death was listed as asphyxiation caused by compression of her neck, and her pajama top became accidentally entwined in the oven door. Well, unless this is a very unusual door, I'm not quite sure how this can happen. It says what appears to have happened was, for some reason, she had fallen and caught her pajama top on the lower handle of the oven door. Well, that tells me it's not a floor oven. It's not like a stove and an oven below. So he says, I can't explain how she ended up in this position. Well, neither can I. Uh, Neither can I, because all you have to do is stand up or get on your knee or something. Now, there is a possibility because the inquest heard that she had suffered a stroke 6 years prior, but did not suffer any ensuing balance problems. So there's no way to figure out how if you take a wall oven and it's broiling, whatever she's doing, with the pajama top, which most people do not wear turtleneck pajamas. It's usually an open button. How are you going to strangle yourself that way? But she found a way. Go figure. What is this now? What's going on over here? We have lots of stuff. Let's see. Oh, back to Generation Z because they have now decided that skinny jeans are out of style. That's right. Skinny jeans. You know, when you bought the intentionally thin jean to make you look slimmer than you already are, or when you're way too heavy, you're trying to fake it with the skinny jean. Um, Take it from a fat guy. I know about faking. Um, yeah, the trend was called out on TikTok, I guess, which makes it official. So that means I get to have to bang something like a gavel. It's official. Skinny jeans are out of style. They're condemning the body hugging pants and calling for their prompt removal from all closets in a very dramatic ways. Okay, well, now you can go back to looser fitting pants. You know, the ones that their moms and their aunts wore when they were kids. Um, but all right, no more skinny jeans. Throw everything out. Go buy some new jeans. That's all right. That works. Well, it works for me. I don't wear them. If I don't wear them, you can do what you want. So I was watching last night. And I would never pay for this, so I have to definitely get this off a stream, because I won't pay for it. Uh, this thing about YouTube boxers. Someone's having a good day out there. YouTube fighter Jake Paul is boxing. I'm going to jump out that window and beat somebody. Um, was boxing a former MMA fighter who was 39 years old. And this was on Showtime pay-per-view. And what seems to be happening in the sport of boxing, which I love, I am watching boxing over 40 years. And actually, it's closer to 47. Um, what's happening in the sport of boxing is like everything else. It's being diluted. People want to take the shortcut to success. And now you have a guy, Jake Paul and his brother Logan, who are trying to do what takes fighters years, what takes athletes of all kinds years to do, which is first get in condition to do what you're trying to do. You don't. It's an old expression: is you don't play boxing. You don't show up half-fast. You have to be in shape, and then you take a while longer to learn your trade, learn how to throw the punches, learn how to roll with punches, and so on. If you know boxing, you know what's involved. I'm watching these two. Well, at least the MMA guy has an idea of what fighting is because he's a former professional combat fighter. The other guy has three half-fast little exhibitions on YouTube. Lost one of them. He took one big right hand, I think in round 3, that sent them falling into the second rope. Not the top rope, the second rope. The ropes literally caught him and held him up. In boxing, if you are held up by the ropes for any reason, it should be counted as a knockdown. This was not the case. Anyway, after their 8 rounds of 2-minute, 2-minute rounds, 8 rounds of exhibition, Jake Paul was given the win. This is bad for business. Again, it's bad business. Why? Because it's costing a fortune to put on these shows, and you got people who do not know what they're really doing, trying to do what they're really doing. And that, to me, is just bad. Anyway, I don't pay for this. I'd rather see the highlights tomorrow, to read today. It was total nonsense. That's my story on sports. I'll get to the weather in a bit. Well, weather now. It's humid out. You see my nice relaxed shirt? I don't care if it looks sloppy. I'm comfortable. It's hot out. Okay, here you got a story. A medium is claiming that she's the reincarnation of Marilyn Monroe and is married to Michael Jackson's ghost. And she's also upset that the ghost is not having sex with her. And I kid you not, this is a story from August 19th. And this is what's going on. A medium. I'm not sure if she used the crystal ball or what her story is, but she's not getting any from Casper. Mike is not doing his job in the hereafter. Yeah, she has been in a relationship with him for years and years, and that he uses her as a vehicle to eat cookies. And she also believes she is the reincarnation of Marilyn Monroe. So Mike is using Marilyn to eat cookies. That he uses her body to sing, dance, and snack. And this is why I had to read this, because I love crazy and stupid. And I got a wealth of it today. This is getting better by the minute. It really is. Well, what else is going on in the world? Ah, here you go. Listen, I know I'm not reading anything important, and some of you are listening to this saying, what the hell is he talking about? If you remember me saying so, excuse me, I need a little shot. If you remember me ever saying so is, I really don't like covering the news on the front page. We all know what's going on in the world right now. As a matter of fact, just a little while ago, CNN announced that the last of the American troops have pulled out of Afghanistan, so we know that. We know what's going on. But I never like covering headline news. Just picture buying yourself a newspaper and starting somewhere between pages 8 and 12. That's where I go. Where you find a lot of odd stories, some important, most not, but I enjoy reading them because I get to laugh at them. Like this guy, a man who dies after having sex using epoxy adhesive instead of a condom. I am not kidding. This prophylactic resulted in a fatal organ failure. Police are probing the bizarre case of a 25-year-old Indian man who suddenly died after using a high-powered epoxy resin instead of a condom. They used what? The adhesive to avoid pregnancy, a local investigator told the Times of India, instead of a prophylactic. He wouldn't go to the drugstore, gang. According to this, according to one of the senior police officers, Salman Mirza Fatwani, and his unnamed ex-fiancee were captured on closed-circuit television security footage entering a fatal flop house. Okay, we got it. We got it. I know it's sad someone died. I know that. But there are times to give people sympathy, and there are times you just gotta laugh. And yeah, he sort of glued it together. So, died. Whatever the poison was, whatever it did, he died. Now people know. Want to pick up a hooker and go into a flop house or whoever she is, someone in the bar? Stop in, spend a little bit, be safe. Now, here's one in the news that people have been talking about. Um, it's one of these lawsuits where I always go with why now? Why now? Now, usually I bring these up with why now. You hear about a woman who is saying someone did this or that way back when. I go, why now? This is not the case. This is the band Nirvana, lead singer Kurt Cobain. Well, anyway, the album Nevermind, the cover was a baby whose name is Spencer Eldon, who's now 30. And the baby was nude in the pool, the water. Now, when you look, I saw the photo shoot album, so definitely I think it's mom in front of the baby under the water, so of course nothing can happen to the kid. She's got him. That's safe. The baby's safe. Apparently, that the parents were paid about $200 30 years ago when this album came out. And now Spencer Eldon is suing everybody he can for $150,000 each, roughly 15 people. He wants $7.5 million because he says it was child pornography. Now, anyone looking up this name, Spencer Eldon, can see that he's recreated this photograph for himself multiple times. Multiple times. Now it's so, what's he saying? that they what was it? He said he lifelong damage from having his naked body plastered on a triple diamond selling album. The, he says he says neither he was 4 months old, claiming neither he nor his guardians consented to a naked photo shoot. He's 4 months old. He can't consent to a diaper change. So yes, every day with him is going to be naked at the time. Anyway, he is now looking for a lawsuit, and I checked out. You Google people, and they always have that net worth type of thing. Well, there's anywhere near accuracy to this. Spencer is worth about 50 grand at the age of 30. He's not rich. He's got a couple of dollars in the bank. That's nice. But all of a sudden, he's now suing all these years later because he wasn't given, I guess he wasn't given an option. Now, the parents knew it. They got $200 for the photo shoot. He's saying no one knew that this cut picture was going to be put on an album. And now he's looking for money. He was the plaintiff, who was 4 months old at the time, also claims he was forced to engage in commercial sex acts and that the band went back on their alleged promise to conceal his genitals from the album. I don't know if there was a written agreement. I don't know what there was. It doesn't really say. It doesn't say. But I want to know why now. Not the first two or three times he's recreated his photograph as an adult for whatever reasons he did it and published them on the internet. He's now looking for a big, huge lawsuit. Somehow I don't know that he's going to get it. And I always go with why now? What it looks like to me is a young guy whose, I guess, own modeling career, whatever he was trying to do, is not taking off, and he needs money. That's how I see it. It's my opinion. What else is going on? Oh yeah, for the people who don't care and don't mask and don't vaccinate and don't do this and don't do that, they just had a music festival in England, a music and surf festival in England, and about 5,000 people tested positive. So yeah, that says at least 4,700 coronavirus cases have been linked to a massive 5-day long festival in England. Well, it's not done yet. I maybe a few more will crop up because it's been a few days. It's been a while. The festival was from August 11th to the 15th, so this may be the cap at 47,000. Oh, excuse me, 4,700, 5,000. Not sure yet, but that's what's going. That's there, and why I'm bringing that up because America also had Sturgis. Yep, Sturgis, the South Dakota motorcycle rally, been around for a long, long time. Everybody gets to show off their bikes, have a good time, get away from it all, do their thing. Well, again, everybody's on top of each other. It says here the number is 3,819 new cases in the past 2 weeks. I find that to be considerably low and lucky, considering you got as many people there as you have at the festival in England. People, don't take it as a joke. I know you'd like to, but don't. I got my booster shot the other week, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago on Thursday, week ago Thursday. I went to the CVS website, cvs.com. I had seen my doctor says, yeah, you're diabetic, you're eligible. So I went and I signed up. Very quick questioning thing. Made an appointment, walked in, nobody was there on a nice humid day like this. And yeah, there I was sitting there for 15 minutes with the same shot I had before. And I sat there in the air conditioning, and I liked it so much. I paid the pharmacist, got a fourth shot, did it again, got a fifth shot. By the time I left there nice and cooled off, I had 15 shots in me. I felt great, and I'll never get sick again. So I'm like germ proof for a little while. But actually, I did. I got my booster shot. I was already two in. I don't know if it's going to help or not. I mean, what's already coming out is, from what I'm hearing, is at least a couple of reports is that once you have antibodies from having it, you don't need vaccination because you already have antibodies, and that's what vaccination does. It gives you antibodies. And I had checked my blood. I still had original antibodies from before my first vaccination in March. So it means I was still okay for a year. Doesn't mean it's going to last forever. But personally, I was still antibodied for a year following. So anyway, I got it. I was just curious if the vaccination wipes out your antibodies in favor of its own formula. Anyway, um, I really think that everyone should take care of themselves. I know a few people who died from it. It's not pleasant. No, dying the hard way is not pleasant. I have no experience, thankfully, but yeah, somehow laying on a vent doesn't exactly sound like a vacation or peaceful way to go. What else is going on? Notre Dame, the cancel culture is coming after the Leprechaun, their team mascot, the Notre Dame Leprechaun, because people are fighting about that now. Well, that's okay. Cancel culture is also coming for the Philly Fanatic baseball. It's been around there, that big green thing. Well, the judge already ordered that they've changed things enough. They can keep it the way it is. Now it's time for the Notre Dame Fanatic. What is this thing called anyway? Hmm. Yeah, it's like a big leprechaun. It's for Notre Dame. Anyway, it's the Fighting Irish Leprechaun. Yes, and the little green guy caught heat for cultural appropriation, with critics calling him a disparaging symbol of Irish Catholics, after ranking him only slightly better than the San Diego State Aztec Warrior. The Florida State's Osceola and Renegade, and the University of Hawaii's Billy the Warrior. Um, I cannot tell people what to be upset about. As I first read the story about the Notre Dame Leprechaun, I was also reading about the fans who said we don't care. Yeah, they didn't care. So yeah, yeah, as one person puts it, people are taking it too serious. It's a leprechaun. What are we saying? The leprechaun is movies. The leprechaun movies are offensive too. I mean, every time you turn around, something can be deemed offensive. If you want to, there are so many examples of who you can sit there and be offended for. Dwarves. Dwarves can, yeah, why not? If you watch The Wizard of Oz, they're the Munchkins. If you watch was it Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? It's the Blue Meanies. Either way, there's always someone to be offended for or about. And this is not important. It really isn't. Yes, it worked out with the Washington Redskins. They're coming up with a better name next season because the Washington football team. Well, when someone says to me who's playing, I go St. Louis versus Washington, St. Louis and Washington. So yeah, they don't need a name if you want to get technical, but you know they'll have to come up with something a little nicer. Anyway, so yeah, the fanatic is allowed to stay. Leave the leprechaun alone. Don't mess with the taste of curry. Time is going very fast. What else is going on in the world today? On the good news front, this was from the other day. President Biden has signed the PAWS Act, PAWS, allowing the VA, the Veterans Administration, to fund the training of service dogs for veterans. I think that is very, very important. PAWS stands for Puppies Assisting Wounded Service Members of Veterans Therapy Act. So yeah, I think that's very important. Yeah, it's besides the people with PTSD, you also have people left with physical limitations, people who are blind, and sometimes you need help. And service dogs do come in handy. They are very important, and they become your friend. And believe it or not, they do a lot more than lead the blind. They can sniff out cancer. They can tell for people with seizures when one's coming on, and they all but force you to get onto the floor. I was watching videos of this. I couldn't believe that what was it? A golden retriever was someone was having a seizure and shaking. This dog was just laying on top of her, not to let her head thrash and stuff. I was watching a video with someone with who suffers from fainting spells for one reason or another. The dog can sense it, forces her to the floor, and gets her to sit down. And sure enough, the dog is right. So yes, that the VA is going to pay for service animals, good. This may be the best news of the month. What else is going on? It's just so many odd, stupid things in the world. This one I found interesting, and I guess it depends on how you view it. I find it understandable, but sort of tacky. I wouldn't do it. Newlyweds send out $240 bills, or actually billing for $240 to guests who are no-show at their wedding with no notice. So you sent a response of saying, yes, I'll be there. They book wherever. They're paying for your meal. I think it was 120 ahead. And now you don't show. Now they're out to 240. So whether it was due to COVID, general illness, something happened, whatever it can be, nobody made a phone call or let them know. And now Doug Simmons and Deirdre McGee of Chicago are sending out bills to the people who did it. Now that's interesting. I don't know if I'm not, and it looks like a real invoice. I mean, they created an invoice for themselves. It's not a complicated thing to read. But I don't know if they'll collect or not. They're certainly going to lose some friends. But all right, they did it. 240, please. Cash or charge. Then there was something here where somehow some people just need to be slapped in the head. I know that if you brush up against somebody's sleeve, or if your shoe touches somebody's car tire, they want it's assault. But sometimes, and I don't mean beaten like beaten, I mean sometimes like a good in the back of the neck because you're an idiot. So you have this guy who was he and his girlfriend were attending a college baseball game, and the game is over. It was the Ohio let's say in Akron, Ohio Rubber Ducks baseball game last Thursday. And the game went on. The night ends when it ended up being a good night for some home team. They won 11-2. And then one fan shouts out to look at the screen because it only cost like $5 or $10 to do it, put up a sign on the Jumbotron that he's breaking up with her and the relationship was over. He humiliated her to such an extent on the big screen of a baseball game. Now, anyone who's ever been to a game knows what big screen looks like. I don't know what she did. I don't know what happened. If she cheated, he should have just left. If he fell out of love, he should have just left. Anything else, he should have just left if that's how he felt. But to sit there and pay somebody to dump your girl, and I don't know how the stadium allowed this to be done, but I guess you can tell somebody you love them, you can tell somebody you hate them, and that's what happened. I find that to be really a shitty thing to do. Okay, what else is going on here? Parents must pay. I got this from Michigan. This was from the 27th, just the other day. Parents must pay $30,441 to their son for getting rid of his porn collection. Turns out this guy was living with his parents. It says a judge has ordered a Western Michigan couple to pay $30,441 to their son, as I said, for getting rid of his pornography collection. District Judge Paul Maloney's decision this week came 8 months after David Weirking, 43, won a lawsuit against his parents. He said they had no right to throw out his collection of films, magazines, and other items. Working, who had lived at the Grand Haven home for 10 months after a divorce before moving to Muncie, Indiana. Judge followed the value set by an expert, MLive.com. Parents also have to pay $14,500 to their son's attorney. So pretty much, the attorney got more than the third, and the parents are out $30,000 plus because their son had a porn stash in their basement. I guess they moved and they got rid of it. Parents still think they did him a favor, but he sued his parents. I don't know if I would ever consider suing my parents. Well, in my case, it was sort of difficult to get rid of my porn collection, being as though it was my job. But that is one of the dumbest things. Really, throw this guy out of the house. Speaking of it being my job, going back to the Nirvana cover with the baby, no, it's not child pornography. Trust my judgment. He sued his parents. Can I sue my parents? I'm going to think of a reason. I'll think of something. I'm going to sue. I'm going to sue all my family members. I'm going to get a blanket case going. I'm going to see what I can get. There's always a reason to sue. Oh, man. Kanye West. Oh, you never know what Kanye's going to do. Well, he decided first to legally change his name to Ye, like the end of his name, Kanye, Y-E. That's going to be his legal name. And in promoting his latest album, Dande, he set it up and set himself on fire. Then he remarries Kim Kardashian as part of the promotion. They remarried after getting a divorce. I don't know if they're really married or not. Probably not. But he went through all this while setting himself ablaze. Lucky nothing went wrong. She's wearing a dress. I'm not sure if it's before or after the fire. That's a long train and a long veil. Yay. Okay. But there is a way to safely set yourself on fire. That's what stuntmen do all the time. There's clothing, there's gel, there's a lot of things. Then there's a story I'm looking at. Everyone who knows me, who has seen me standing in video on the show, knows I am a big guy. I was never looking to kid anybody. So I'm looking at this story that there's a woman who is willing to die for the world's biggest hips. Got it? Hips. You know, that area that's under your side, your waist. Bobby Joe Wesley, 43 of York, Pennsylvania, wants to have the biggest hips in the world. She is 5'2", weighs 542 pounds, and says her shapely hips come at a cost. She has a nutritionist, Nadia Sharifi, owner of the My Trim Line Weight Loss and Wellness Center, says she isn't buying. And I'm not buying it either. Because A, this woman is never going to be satisfied. Because if all she wants is big hips, she's got them. I don't know what the Guinness record is of tape measuring on a hip. But what I am noticing about this woman, as big as she is, as much weight as she gained, I'm willing to bet that in her thinner days, because she's not old at all, she didn't have big hips. I'm willing to bet that she really didn't have too much hip at all. Because I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the advanced fat. I'm looking at the size of her, and I could see where she's doing the tape measure, but I don't see it as being hip. I see where her rear end got extremely massive. I could see where her legs became massive. I could see a lot of things, but there's nothing about this that says this woman ever in her life had big hips. But more importantly, whatever she's trying to accomplish, I don't think she ever will, because there's something else going on here. And she will probably explode by the time she's 43. I don't know. She's claiming they already measured 95 inches, but sets her. Oh, excuse me. The current record is 99 inches. So there's a few more pizzas to go. And let me get it right. When you hear me talking like this is not fat shaming. This is not fat shaming. Look at I'm telling you, I can say these things. No, someone really skinny can't say these things. I can say these things. She's not fooling me. She's not fooling anyone like me. There's something else going on here. This woman has, well, she's smiling away, but this looks to be a death wish to me. Um, oh, and of course, well, here's part of it. She, yes, she's earned instant online fame, worldwide fans buying and trading her pictures. Uh-huh. And she has even arranged crushing sessions for her biggest fans, who paid to have the curvaceous woman sit on them and squash them. Now we got it. She's making money. It's also going to be a death wish. She may not realize it, but there's something. This can't be right. But I don't know if anyone knows what I just described. Crushing, you can kill somebody. You can kill somebody. I've read about these things all the time. I've discussed this as a joke all the time. And there are people as a fetish who are into women like this. But now, I don't think if she gets to 99 or if she gets to 105-inch hips, she's ever going to be satisfied. So this is a very sad case. Okay, what's going on here? Yeah, we're coming up on 15 minutes to go. See all this stuff here? Let's see. Looking at it, this is an interesting story, at least to me. A mother of four has got rid of all her jobs. She got rid of her jobs to become a dumpster diver, earning $1,000 a week. It says here, the theory of one man's trash is another man's treasure. But here, she is using it as her main source of income. She got rid of her work, and what she does is, she doesn't go walk around looking at any old garbage pail in the street. She goes to where there are garage sales, where there are estate sales, where there is one thing or another where there's perfectly good items to sell. And what do you do with the items you can no longer sell, but you don't no longer need? You throw them out. And that's what she's taking. She's looking for valuables in dumpsters. And she's showing a picture of all the cosmetics, the perfectly good, unopened, unused cosmetics that she's found that she's now selling on the internet. This is what she's doing, and she's making about $1,000 a week. And listen, if she can do it, good for her. Yeah, yeah, they go to garage sales. Yeah. She recently scored a $750 coffee machine from Bed Bath and Beyond, unopened, makeup worth hundreds, and she's selling it. But you don't have to sell it for 750. You can sell it for 150, 250. Someone's gonna jump on it. So yeah, she's just, I guess, as I say, thinking in 3D, making her living doing it. If she doesn't want to go into the office, or she's not making enough money, and she has all these kids, she's doing what she has to do. I don't know if it's something that she originally wanted to do, but it seems to be the right move for her at this time. So good for her. Good for the mom. Okay, what else is going on? This is where, when you hear about parents getting divorced and there's a young kid involved, or even the older kids, I, I always say that, forgetting the parents' financial deals, it's always going to be the kids that pick up the check. Always going to be the kids that have to pay the bill in the end. This is not necessarily a financial designation, a distinction. It says a Chicago mom says a judge has forbid her from seeing her 11-year-old son because she is not vaccinated against COVID-19. She says she misses him more than anything. Very difficult. Hasn't seen him since August 10th. Her name is Rebecca Furlet. And for whatever reason, during the divorce proceeding, the judge asked about her status, her vaccination status. She's sharing custody with her ex-husband, but asked her about the vaccination status. He then stripped her of her parenting time when she said she refused to get the shot. She says she reacted badly to vaccinations in the past. Is appealing the judge's ruling. So that's pending, but that's upcoming and pending. But once again, whether she can take it or not, and I'm sure if she needs to, if the judge asks, I'm sure if she has a legitimate reason, she can get something from her doctor explaining why. Whether the dad used it as a cheap tool in this case or not, or it's a legitimate concern. Once again, it's the kid gets to deal with. He's 11. I'm sure he's missing his mother. Oh well. So anyway, yeah, we have look at this. Look at that time. 12 minutes to go. Let me see what else is on my page. There's always something to talk about. I told you about the medium. Ah, man. I told you about the medium. I told you about this. I told you about the naked guy. Oh, that's right. There's somebody who went to a McDonald's. I am not kidding. Again, I am not creating these things. Somebody went to a McDonald's drive-through, and there was a cow in the back seat. I am not kidding you. She went to a McDonald's in Wisconsin, a drive-through, with a cow in the back seat. Now, is this to mean that this person wants their food really fresh? Is that what she's saying? The beef at McDonald's is a bit stale, so I want something fresh? I think people are nuts. I hope the cow craps in the back. What else? And let's see. Before I forget, rest in peace to Ed Asner. Actor Ed Asner has died at the age of 91. He was in many, many movies, many stages. He did a lot of things in his career, but he's known mostly as being in the Mary Tyler Moore Show. He was played Lou Grant, Mary Tyler Moore's boss at WJM News, and he was hysterical. He was brilliant in the part. He was just excellent. From everything I read, he was excellent in his personal life as well. So rest in peace to Ed Asner. So anyway, we're getting around. What's been going on with me? I haven't seen anybody in a couple of weeks. I had gone to my doctor a couple of weeks ago, routine. I got to check in sometime. And I already knew what he was going to say. I knew. My big weakness in life is bread. I don't have a big sweet tooth. I do appreciate a good piece of cake or a cookie, you know. Not really into like pastries with creams. Cake. Anyway, so, but I don't have a massive sweet tooth. So even today, that I am diabetic, if I have a piece of cake, no one's going to care. It's not that often. But what I am hooked on is bread and pizza, which means pizza, bread, pasta, potato, anything. I love starch. Anyway, so he didn't even bother pulling my blood this week. He just took a finger stick, like you do with diabetes, onto the meter, and it read a couple of weeks ago 285. That is massively, insanely high, considering that normal is anywhere from like 80 to tops 110. I didn't feel bad. I felt fine. I still feel fine. But this time he wouldn't even take my blood. He says, I already know and I don't want to spend the money doing it. So he insisted I take the insulin injection. Well, me not doing things until I actually have to do them. Well, I took his prescription and my pharmacist filled it. And it's not the old fashioned needle with the bottle, you know, whole big setup. Now everything is pretty much in pens, almost like an EpiPen, but this time it's insulin. So set the thing, stab. Anyway, I I can't do that. I know I can't. And the reason why, I know if I take this thing, I'm going to be tied to it for the rest of my life. And I know I don't need it. So I know that I need to get rid of the bread. So that's what I did. As I left his office, knowing when I knew my plan was the next morning, that was it. So I found one of my favorite pizzerias. I had a few slices, and that was it. Yeah, sounds insane. I went from my doctor saying bread, and there I went to have bread. But anyway, I knew what the plan was. So starting a week ago Wednesday, I have not had a slice of bread, a slice of pizza, a piece of pasta, rice of any kind. Um, I have ordered limited stuff in Chinese food, like chicken and broccoli, things like that, just to drop the sauce for taste. But in the process, I seem to, at least if my scale is anywhere near accurate, I seem to have lost about 12 pounds. Seem to have, well, I've dropped my sugar points from roughly 285. Today I woke up, it was 149. Now that's still very high, but as any crazed diabetic with big numbers will tell you, they'll be happy being around 150 for the rest of their lives because it's not 285. I know guys who are at 400. Matter of fact, I just mentioned Mary Tyler Moore. When they figured out that she was diabetic and put her in the hospital, her sugar levels were about 750. She didn't know. I think her blood and her urine were green by the time they got it there. She didn't even know. She had no clue. But everyone's different. Anyway, so I got a goal in mind. I have a jacket in my closet that I bought about 30 years ago. Really nice leather biker jacket, like a material thing of cherubs on it, collar and a buckle. It's really a cool jacket, and I forgot what I paid for it, but I got it when I weighed 260. That's about 30 years ago. And today, actually, as of 2 days ago, for the first time in 20 years, I am under 300. I am not light by any stretch of the imagination. That just means if I take me and I sit on the seesaw against me from last week, means today I lose the seesaw battle. So I don't know where I'm, like part of an old phrase goes, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm on my way. And it's going to be pretty tough because all the Jewish holidays are coming up. My birthday comes up. Um, Hopefully there's no cakes. I have to now be sort of careful with what I'm having at the holiday dinners. And since it's loaded with starch, I'm going to pick and choose wisely. I have a feeling I know which dish I will allow it from. And that's one of the tricks of losing weight. You know, if you're saying, I'll never do it again, good luck. But when you cheat, like I said, even as a diabetic, when you cheat, you sort of pick and choose how you're going to cheat, where you're going to cheat, where the lesser of all evils come from. So I know the menu coming up and I know where I can do it from if I have to go. And as far as I miss bread. I'm not really craving it, but I do miss it. I haven't had it yet. And unfortunately, there's a brand new bagel store that opened 2 blocks from my house, which really upsets me. But I'll make do. I'll buy a couple for other people and I'll watch them eat it and I'll live through them. As long as it looks well done, I won't miss it too. As long as the bagels are not well done, I won't miss it too much. But yes, I will be able to sort of pick and choose what and where when I have to. And pretty much, one of the great staples I use of losing weight is washing off tuna fish. Just put it in a little strainer, as big a can as you want. Put it in a strainer. Let the cold water rinse off the salt, the oils, whatever you got there. And when you see the water go from cloudy to clear, pretty much all that good flavor is gone. Now you let it drain a few seconds. You put it in whatever bowl you're going to mix it in. And I don't use mayonnaise, and I don't use that mock mayonnaise, which I always took to be one of the biggest bullshit stories of all time. And I use low-fat cottage cheese. And there's not much of fat at all in cottage cheese. It's low-fat. And that is what I eat a lot of. And that's been one of my staple go-to dishes. That and turkey breast. 2 magic foods for losing weight. And I do get my starches. I do eat vegetables where I can. But I have swapped out bread and I use red bell peppers. And people do with pickles, people do with a lot of things. Make sandwiches, anything. It's kind of just put stuff in between 2 slices of anything, and you've got a sandwich. So I use bell peppers, and it works out pretty well. So again, I don't know. See me in a few more pounds. All I know is when I take out that tape measure, I just want it to slide to my right, just a little bit, and we'll see what happens. And when I guess right now, given the current size of me, I can, for the first time in years, walk into a store and buy a pair of jeans of my own without having to order it on Amazon, which I don't think you understand just what that means. Okay, then, that is the story. Wish me luck. My next assignment will be to get 1E off of my shoe size so I can actually buy shoes in the shoe store. I have a 4E foot. It's difficult to do. It's either they have 4E or they don't, and that means I really don't have to try on shoes. So there's one perk of it all. But I'd like to be able to walk into a store and try them on. And with that, the show is going on. Show is going off, actually. So anyway, go me, go you, and do the best you can, right? Okay. I'll see everybody next week. Jade and I are plotting and scheming on what to do with the show. Her show, my show, their show. We just want to improve all the shows. Right? So maybe next time I'll sing and dance. Usually Jade sings. Maybe I'll sing. There are a couple of songs I can sing. Not very well, but I can sing them. When I sing somebody else's song before I go, this is interesting on how people really do it. They're usually singing a song they know with the artist from like a video or the radio. They know the song. They know what the singer is going to do in advance. So really, they're just in a way impersonating the singer. It's like if you sing a Willie Nelson song. If you want to sing "On the Road Again," I promise you, you're going to start twanging up your voice just a little bit and on the road again, and you're going to try. But I know just where each singer is going to do anything depending on what version I listen to. So I sing like that. But there are a couple of songs out there where I can sort of get through the song pretty decently. I haven't killed anybody yet. No cat is screeching. Okay. I'll see everybody next week. We'll look for some more important stuff next week. Maybe the Mets will have a few more wins under their belt. Who the hell knows? Until then, have a good night. I'll see you. Bye.